Welcome, dear listener, to a journey through time like no other. Tonight, we dive deep into the documentary of Earth's most precious resource, water on After Hours Tales. A documentary that stretches back billions of years from the fiery beginnings of our planet to the serene oceans that sustain life today. As you settle in and let the gentle rhythm of the waves carry you, let the story unfold and wrap you in wonder, curiosity, and peace. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let the adventure begin. Picture yourself standing at the edge of an unimaginable scene, the young Earth, a swirling mass of molten rock and cosmic dust spinning rapidly in the void of space. The early solar system was a violent place, a chaotic orchestra of asteroids, comets, and planetary debris constantly colliding and merging. The young Earth was not the peaceful blue and green orb we see today, but a furnace of heat and turmoil. Before we proceed, where are you watching from? And I hope this meets you good. Now let's continue. The formation of Earth started about 4.5 billion years ago. As particles from the solar nebula collided, they formed the early Earth. Heat from these collisions caused the planet to remain molten for millions of years. Imagine a world where volcanoes raged, releasing gases and molten rock. The intense heat of this early Earth was so extreme that water could not remain in liquid form. Instead, it existed as water vapor, trapped in the atmosphere, just waiting for the planet to cool down. But Earth was far from stable. As volcanic activity continued to churn, the atmosphere was composed of a thick mix of gases: carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane, and ammonia. This volatile cocktail helped trap the heat, creating what we now call a greenhouse effect. The young Earth was a chaotic, boiling mess, a barren landscape with no oceans, no rivers, and no life. The real miracle was not in how Earth formed, but in how it was positioned perfectly in the habitable zone, a region around the sun where water could exist in liquid form. While Earth was still a hot ball of molten rock, the planet had started its cooling process. It would take time, but eventually it would be cool enough for water vapor to condense, forming clouds, and eventually rain. Now imagine the skies above Earth, teeming with comets and asteroids, cosmic wanderers speeding through the vastness of space. These icy bodies filled with water came from the outer reaches of the solar system. They were the first true deliverers of water to Earth. As Earth continued to form, the bombardment of asteroids and comets intensified. These icy bodies contained water in its frozen form, and when they collided with Earth, they deposited their frozen cargo. Think about this. While Earth's own volcanoes were releasing gases, these ice-laden objects from space were the true architects of our planet's future oceans. The water they delivered was pure and untapped, offering a unique contribution to Earth's water supply. But was this water enough to fill our oceans? Some scientists argue that asteroids, which are far more common than comets, could have been the real heroes in delivering the bulk of Earth's water. These asteroids are rich in hydrated minerals, substances that combine water with other chemical elements. They carried water deep into the planet's surface, contributing to Earth's early oceans. As these cosmic collisions continued, they had a profound impact on the Earth's atmosphere and surface. Water vapor from these collisions began to condense and fall as rain. The Earth's first oceans were born, not in one grand flood, but over millions of years of gentle rainfall, forming lakes, rivers, and seas across the surface. This cosmic delivery of water is not just a fascinating chapter of Earth's history. It's a pivotal moment in the story of life. The first oceans would eventually become the cradle of life itself, shaping the future of every living thing on this planet. The Earth began to cool, and water vapor began to condense. But the early oceans were not calm, peaceful bodies of water. Imagine a world where volcanic activity still reigned supreme, with eruptions lighting the sky. But these violent eruptions weren't just destructive, they were essential. As volcanoes erupted, they didn't just release lava, they released water vapor, which continued to feed the growing oceans. The early atmosphere was thick with gases, and as the Earth cooled further, water vapor began to fall as rain, filling low-lying areas and creating the first oceans. But life would not emerge easily. The oceans were acidic, filled with chemicals from volcanic activity, and far from ideal for sustaining life as we know it. The water that began to fill these primordial oceans wasn't the fresh, clear water of today. It was a chemical soup, a mixture of minerals, gases, and heat. However, over time, this mix of minerals provided the perfect conditions for early microbial life to form. As Earth's oceans took shape, tectonic activity played a huge role in shaping the planet's surface. The movement of tectonic plates created mountains, valleys, and basins, forming the contours of the world we recognize today. Water, in its liquid, gaseous, and solid states, began to circulate and stabilize, eventually leading to the modern water cycle. The birth of the oceans marked the first true chapter in the story of life on Earth. As the water settled, it began to form large, shallow seas. These early oceans were murky, chemically rich, and acidic. But beneath the surface, the magic of life was beginning. Imagine deep within the ocean's darkest crevices, around hydrothermal vents, where mineral-rich water from Earth's core seeped into the ocean. Here, life found a way to survive. Microbial organisms, simple and small, use the heat and minerals from the Earth's core to create energy in a process called chemosynthesis, instead of relying on sunlight. These early organisms were bacteria and archaea, and they thrived in these extreme environments. Over millions of years, these organisms evolved, slowly adapting to their surroundings. The seas, once a toxic and barren place, began to teem with life. These simple organisms would become the building blocks for the complex life forms that followed. As these microbes began to photosynthesize, they produced oxygen, which began to accumulate in the oceans and atmosphere. Over time, this oxygen buildup would lead to the formation of the ozone layer, protecting life from harmful radiation and allowing more complex life to evolve on land. Water is the lifeblood of Earth. Without it, life would not exist. It has played a vital role in shaping the planet and sustaining life for billions of years. The oceans, lakes, and rivers are not just parts of Earth's landscape. They are the foundation for all life. From the first single-celled organisms to the vast ecosystems of today, water has enabled life to thrive. But water is not infinite. As we enter the modern age, we see that Earth's water resources are under threat. Pollution, overuse, and climate change are putting immense pressure on water sources worldwide. Freshwater resources are shrinking, and the oceans are rising due to climate change, threatening coastal cities and ecosystems. In this chapter, we explore how we can care for and protect our water resources. From reducing pollution and conserving water to supporting sustainable water management, each of us has a role to play in ensuring that water continues to nourish the planet. The cycle of water is both ancient and ongoing, and it is now our responsibility to honor and protect this precious resource. If we care for the water that sustains life, we ensure a healthy, thriving Earth for future generations. As you close your eyes tonight, think of the water that flows through the Earth, the same water that has existed for billions of years, supporting every living being on this planet. From the early volcanic seas to the vibrant ecosystems we see today, water has been a constant companion in the story of life. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through time. As you drift off to sleep, remember that water is a gift, one that we must protect. It has nurtured every living thing, and it will continue to sustain us as long as we care for it. Good night, and thank you for watching. May this story sink deep into your heart as you rest, knowing that we are all part of the same great journey.